My name is Mohammed Sabit. I'm currently working as intern in Nalanda Library. So through these sessions, I would like to give an idea about the PhD application procedure look like and give some few tricks and tricks based on my personal experiences. So let's start then. So before diving into this PhD application, the question often came come to my mind, like when I sat for interview board, interviews. The question that I'm often get from professors is, do you really need to do a PhD, or do you really need to do a PhD from this particular institution? Why this institution? Why PhD? Why PhD now? These are the frequent question I encounter. So this is a really important to have a clarity that do you really need to do a PhD, or that research is your real interest? So just you evaluate yourself whether you want to do a PhD, because thing is that doing PhD is very tiring process physically, mentally, as well as economically. So apart from that, it will take a good amount of time, like at least 4 to 5 years to complete, which you can work, uh, which is actually when you are in youth. So you could do some other work if you are not really interested into that. So if you are really interested in this doing a research, then you should do. In my opinion, you should do that. There are a lot of options, fundings, and all that in the uh, around the world, so we can explore these options. Let's explore a few of the application materials. What are the requirements for these kind of PhD applications? So let's start then. So these are the points I'll be discussing to you soon. So important and the foremost step in a research is choosing an area or a topic. So when it comes to choosing a topic, you should choose topic based on your sole interest and not on any other any other factors, because thing is that as I said earlier, you will be spending a lot of time doing this research. If you are not at all interested, then you'll not be completing this research in time. So you should choose an area where you have real interest. So how we are going to, what are the ways we can uh, get an idea about an area or a topic of interest? So in Nalanda, we have access to databases, a lot of databases. Two such databases are Web of Science and Scopus. So these are the bibliographic databases which indexes uh, millions of articles from uh, thousands of journals. So this is one way actually. So using keywords, you can filter out latest publications. It's a one way method. So apart from that, you could actually go through the themes, topics of conferences. Here I have listed the conferences or that relating to library information's domain. So apart from that, there are a lot of national as well as international conferences you can explore. And in these conferences, that the reason why I mentioned about conferences is that usually international conferences give that uh, give that themes or topics to their latest, like to their latest happening. So just go through the conferences and get to have an idea about what is really going on my area of research. So in addition to that, you can go through, there are a few websites, particularly for those who are aspiring to go for PhD in European countries, where there is actually, you will be doing PhD under a project. So typically for 3 years, 3 to 4 years. So what really happens in Europe is that they'll be publishing vacancies based on a project. If your research interest and academic research interest, academic background match, then they'll hire you. So these are the websites like Find a PhD, scholarshipdb.net, vacancy.hu, academicquestions.uk, co.uk, as well as LinkedIn. These are the screenshots of the websites that I have mentioned earlier. So another important step in for the preparation of PhD admissions is that this is my personal experience and personal opinion. So before thing is that in case of US and India, especially if you're in India, especially you're planning to approach or planning to get into IITs and IIMs. So thing is that you have to approach a professor first, like to get an idea about whether they are really interested. Is that the research you are proposing is alignment with their current projects and research interest. So in case of US, it's actually necessary because thing is that in US, the average cost of an application will be around $100, which will be like 8,000 8,000 rupees. So in case of University of California systems, that amount will be like 15,000 rupees. So thing is that usually in some cases professors won't be hiring the students. So in that case, if you are mentioning their name and if they are not hiring the students, then there is no point in spending that much of amount of money. Then you could have spent to other universities. So while approaching, what my point is that what while approaching, you should write an articles to exhibit that you are capable of under you are capable, you have that capacity to do an independent research. In addition to that, this writing an article will help you to improve your this research skill and writing skills. That eventually it will be helpful to you to write SOPs as a personal statements and all. So next one is identifying professor and affiliations. Thing is that either you can start with identify a university or identifying the professor. In case of identifying professor, you can use database bibliographic databases like Scopus and Web of Science. You can filter out using keywords the top researchers and professors in that field. So there are few websites or platform where you can go through and get an idea about the what is their actual work is, in what area is the actual working is going on. So what are their recent works, past works and all. So Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar personal websites. Usually professors used to keep personal website. So just you can just go through them, or get LinkedIn, academia.edu, university websites with one. Uh, in my opinion, you should, if you get an idea whom you want to work with, you should follow that person, that professor in LinkedIn, because he will be most probably he will be posting about his recent works, projects, and all in the LinkedIn. So that's it. So approaching next step is once you identify a professor, next step is to approach a professor. So this is a sample of how you should approach a professor. So you could start by uh, just uh, by your name and where you have worked. If you have worked, or if you have worked, you can mention that. Apart from that, you could mention that where you have done your master's as well as graduation. So In addition to that, you could in maximum 1 to 2 sentences, you should brief about what are your research interests and how you're planning to do that research. So in addition to that, you could attach your CV as well as CV as well as sample of work you have done. It could be an article or a thesis. If you don't have any kind of like article or something, you could give like your thesis, master's thesis, or a link to your personal website. You can also give a link to your LinkedIn account. Uh, thing is that this is actually these are the mails I have sent to few professors. So next one is that finding a university. So these are the platforms where you can get an idea about which are the top universities in a particular domain. So in case of NIRF, this is a initiative by Ministry of Education, Indian government. So where they usually release rankings year to year basis. So this is one way. In case of Indian top universities, you could refer other web platforms like India Today, Career 360 and all. In case of international, to find the top university in the international level, you could refer that QS ranking, Times Higher Education, Forbes, Shanghai ranking, QS China, Manga Institution ranking and all. So now let's quickly jump into the materials that will be requiring us for a PhD application. So usually, in case of US, we should have a statement of purpose or a statement of problem. Uh, in other word, it's actually a motivation letter. Usually, in case of Europe, the name actually changes to motivation letter. In some universities, I'm not generalizing it, but in some European universities, they usually want motivation letter. So apart from that, personal statement is the research proposals. Usually in case of US universities, they don't need research proposals, but if that PhD is linked to a project, they need a research proposal with timeline. Uh, a transcript. The thing is that transcript is actually a different one when it comes to mark sheet. So transcript that is not actually mark sheet. Transcript you can get through your universities. Uh, in addition to that, universities will be needing the scores like GRE, TOEFL and IELTS for English proficiency, GATE, NET, CAT and all for this IIMs, IITs, and NIT admissions. So thing is that in my experience, what I understood through this PhD application cycle I have gone through, usually in some universities, GRE is set to as an optional score, but in thing is that when universities get hundreds of applications, they eventually take those GRE as a filtering mechanism. And in TOEFL or either TOEFL or IELTS is required. So you should have a high TOEFL or IELTS scores. In case of IELTS, you should have at least 7.5 overall band. In case of TOEFL, 100 plus is recommended. So in addition to that, recommendations letters, which were in most cases, universities ask for recommendation letters from professors. So if you have like more than 3 years of experience, you could get a recommendations letter from your employer. Apart from that, resume, sample of work. publications, if you have any, you can touch those in that area. Work experience, if you have any. So let's go through what is statement of purpose actually is. So statement of purpose is nothing but your diary or your academic kind of diary. So where you will be discussing about who are you, what are you going to do, why are you going to do this PhD, how you are going to do this PhD, and when are you going to do this PhD. So this is the gist of an SOP. So when it comes to first paragraph, this is actually a sample of my SOP I have written. So this here you can give a brief idea about your research background, that interest of your research interest. So just mention like intersection of this kind of like multi. If you are doing in a multi interdisciplinary, you can just mention it's an interdisciplinary kind of research. So that's it. Next paragraph. The thing is that what I want to say is that this is not necessarily that. That content that should be in that your SOP. Thing is that I have seen a lot of, based on my experience, that I've seen a lot of SOP start with starting like using a quote or by citing a past research of an professor, or a professor within that university you are applying, using a poem or using a result of your most recent work or your thesis or something, that it's like there is no format to do a SOP, to write an SOP. It should be an attractive one. In my opinion, like you could use AI writing tools, but the thing is that they can understand, because like they will be going through hundreds of these kind of applications, that somehow they will detect that AI, you have used AI. Because like thing is that you should never copy from ChatGPT, because like you should add your input, your perspective and all. It's my personal opinion. In case of SOP, how did you get the paragraph you could include in your SOP is that how did you get there? What actually what are the events that actually made you to choose this topic? So you could actually, if you have any findings from your thesis or an article that led you to interested in that particular research. So this is what Mandy said, what is the triggering point to do you to do that particular research? So that's it. You could add whatever you want in this one. So next one is your background, academic background, your achievements and all. Then like 100, within 100 or 100 to 150 words, you can describe what you are really planning to do. What really made you could interest in that research. So could give a background of your research idea, then what are that uh, uh, past research on that area, or what are what is that actual research gap, and how you can fill those research gap through your research. So that's it in this paragraph. So next one is aligning your research interests. So in this, you could actually, in case of US universities, they usually ask you to mention at least 2 to 3 professors in your SOP, like where you would like to work with. So these are the professors from University of Florida. Actually, you could get their research interest through their university website and professor profiles. So towards the end, you could give an idea about what are your long-term goals, what you really want to do after PhD, or whether you want to go for a postdoctoral or further research, or you want get into other field, like you want to get whether you want to get into this corporate job, government job, that kind of thing. You could mention your plans. Towards that, you can just briefly give like a conclusion. So, next important material is personal statement. And actually, uh, a personal statement is nothing but an SOP with a personal touch, where you could actually mention about your personal background, personal motivations, achievements, challenges. How did you overcome those challenges? If you might have faced any economic, physical, mental, or any other challenges you might have faced in your life, you could just mention that how you overcame those challenges, and also how did these circumstances or challenges led you to pursue this research. So these kind of things should be there in personal statement. So next one is research proposal. Thing is that research in most cases, most oftenly, research proposals are mostly required for European universities where uh, their PhD applications and procedures are revolving around a project. So you would be getting only like 3 to 4 years to complete your PhD. They need a person with a right academic achievement and a right uh, research idea to work with. So in that case, they need a research proposal as such, a well-structured research proposal. In most cases, a good research proposal will be around like 3 to 5 pages. It will be in research proposal. It should have introduction, but you should give citations and all in the introduction. Just give a background of your research. Then you can give a review of literature. What are the recent works or past works in that area, and give that research gap as well, where you would like to work with. In addition to that, you could give research, you should write research questions and research objectives. You should give methodology, how you're going to do your PhD, whether you're using any latest technologies like latest methodologies like sentiment analysis, social network analysis, or any other traditional methodology like methods like interviews, surveys, and all. In addition to that, you should give a research timeline. In case of Europe, it will be like 3 years. You could start by data collection, giving like that kind of thing. So, in addition to that, give conclusion as well as reference. So, that's all about research proposal. The thing is that these are the rejections I got in past few months. So, what I want to say is that rejections are inevitable. You will be getting a lot of this thing is that if you are keep applying, you'll be getting rejections because it's actually an inevitable process. Finally, you'll get there. You'll get there. The thing is that these rejections will help you to improve your writings, to look beyond what your capacities, and also just trust yourself, just have trust in yourself, just keep hardworking. So actually, that's all from myself. So I believe that this session is helpful for you, and thank you for listening to me, watching this video. Bye.